Hello champions and future champions, hello ChessMood family. Today's lesson is going to be very important and very practical, as the tips I'm going to share with you today, you can use them even tomorrow. But before I reveal the topic of the lessons, here let's look at the position. White is pawn up, white has clear advantage here, but we need to think what plan to choose for winning the game. And before we go ahead, I refer you to pause the video and think about knight c4 move. Is it a good move? Is it a bad move? Or would you do something else? Okay, well, knight c4 looks a very nice move. Knight on c4, it's better placed than on d2. Yeah, why not? But before doing this at first glance nice move knight c4, let's dive into position deeper. White is pawn up in the queen side. Here they have 4 pawns against black's 3 pawns. Is it gonna be easy for us to go and win the game in the queen side? Well, possible. But let's look also at the king side. In the king side, white has also a big advantage. Do you know why? Okay, mostly because of the f5 very strong pawn. And this pawn will help us to create attack on the king side. It's very possible to go g4, g5, some queen h4, rook f3, king h1, rook g1, rook h3, f6, g6, and then checkmate the king. So here we have a question where to win, in the queen side or in the queen side. And at the same time, let's look at one more fact. What about this bishop on c8? How he is going to come to the game? He's very limited with our pawn chain. Yeah, it cannot come to g4 or h3 because of our f5 pawn. If black plays c5 and then bishop b7, anyway, our d3, e4 pawns are going to limit this bishop on c8. If black tries to play a5, bishop a6, okay, anyway, here the bishop is going to be limited. Now when we play the knight c4 move, which looks very nice, let's look deeper and see what is doing knight on c4 more than on d2. If we go deeper, we will see that it's just a nice move, and in future we will allow opponent at some point to play a5, bishop a6 and exchange their useless bishop. Instead of knight c4, instead of doing just this nice move and later figure it out what to do, it would be smart right now to come with a plan. One of the plans would be to play rook c1, c3, but because the queen side is closed and here we are pawn up, black cannot do anything, it would be very smart to use our advantage in the king side and start to push our pawn with g4, g5, queen h4 and go with attack as I showed already. And here our knight on d2 might be very useful in the king side. At some point, knight can join the attack from f3 or from f1, g3, or it can just stay here and later wait for his decisive maneuver. So knight c4, this is just a nice move, but not very effective. Much better would be to right away come with a plan, than just to play knight c4 and then decide what to do. What happened in the game? White played knight c4 and then g4, g5 and then realized that knight c4 is not doing anything else there and then brought knight d2, knight f3 back. Okay, so the topic of today's lesson is that, well, we need to activate our pieces, but if we are activating the piece and it's more closer to the center, it doesn't mean that our piece is better placed. Let's look at one more example. After e4, c5, knight c3, a6, in our ChessMood repertoire here in the course we offer g3 move. And after b5, bishop g2, bishop b7, d3, e6, here in the course I recommended knight h3, very interesting move. The idea of developing the knight on h3 is anyway to go f4, but after f4 not to put the knight on f3, where after short castle the knight f3 is limiting the queen, the rook and also the bishop, yeah, so the knight would be better on h3, and playing knight h3 and then short castle, then f4, all our 3 pieces are open, and the knight on h3 can come to the game from f5 and then knight f4 or knight g5, one of these 2 places. The knight h3 move has one advantage. Why not to go f4 then knight h3? Why knight h3 first? Well, because after d5 there will be e5, knight f4 move. Not f4, but knight f4, taking the d5 pawn now with 3 pieces. And if black defends it with playing knight f6, here in the course I showed already queen f3 move. And now with 4 pieces we are attacking the d5 pawn and black cannot defend it. And after d3, e6, knight h3, here I see a very common mistake, unfortunately, our ChessMood members are doing, is that after d6, short castle, knight f6, instead of playing f4, yeah, f4, f5, they play here knight f4. Looks like a nice move. Knight is staying on f4, better than on h3. But what to do after black's knight bd7, bishop e7, short castle? What is going to be white's plan? It's very, very unclear. We have just nice knight on f4, but all our idea was related with f4 move. And maybe here it's gonna be smart to just go back knight h3 or knight e2 and then push f4, f5. Okay guys, so don't do such moves which at first glance look nice, like here knight f4, but in real it's not giving us anything. Our plan should be constructive. At the end of today's lesson I have a homework for you. In this position, white played knight f3. Looks nice move, yeah, knight stays better on the third rank than on the second rank. But is it a good move or not? If yes, why? If not, what plan would you choose? Feel free to post your answers in the comment section, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next daily lessons. Thank you for subscribing to our channel, sharing the videos with your friends and all your support. See you very soon.